Hello and welcome to Level 8 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, a brand new gaming podcast with bold takes and no strings attached. I am Jeremy, once again here with the squad. I have David.
What up?
And of course, I have Cory.
Henshin a go-go, baby.
Anyone? Of course, no one.
I don't know, but I'm intrigued.
Beautiful Joe. You should play it.
I've heard of it.
Great game.
Okay. That's all right. So there we go there. Now, you guys, if you're listening, it might sound a little bit different. We might be coming to you a little bit crispy. A little bit on that HD. And that's because for the first time in Thoughts and Players history, myself, David, Cory, we are occupying the same space. And therefore, we're able to take advantage of this beautiful, beautiful setup. I want to give a shout out to my boy Tony for helping hook us up. Really appreciate it. But yeah, tell us what you guys think of it. We're pretty sure that it sounds better than some of the Dr. Robotnik stuff we were giving you before, but we don't know. Maybe you guys like us a little bit more lo-fi. Maybe that had like a nice little appeal to it or something. I don't know. But we want to welcome you to this level of the podcast. We want to thank you for your support. We want you guys to stay posted on our Facebook and our Instagram. We are doing a month-long August Gamer giveaway. I want you guys to get involved, share, like. Got $10 in PSN right now, and we're going to be hitting all the consoles and all the systems. We got Switch coming up. We got Xbox coming up. We got some special at the end of the month. So make sure you're plugged in.
And I want to confirm, I cannot win it, correct?
Cory, you are not able to win the giveaway of which you are a part of.
Okay.
That is correct. But
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked to clarify that.
Right.
Yeah. So guys, stay tuned for that. But with no further ado, no longer ado, whichever ado you do, we are going to head into the morning announcements. And item number 1, there is a surprise release of Cuphead on PlayStation 4. I don't care at all. Do any of you guys care?
It's a little surprising. I thought Xbox had helped fund Cuphead a little bit, but I guess they just had an agreement to hold it off on PS4 for a year or so. Game looks amazing. I know you guys have both seen it.
Yep.
Right?
I've seen some
Graphics,
things.
art style looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a boss rush game, and it's super hard. So if that's your jam, hey, it's on PS4. Go get it.
Yeah, it just caught me off guard. That's
And they're
about
making
it.
a Netflix series on it.
Are they?
Cartoon, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, looks actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I hope it transfers good, because
I
a
don't know how
lot
the
of the
story's
time it
gonna
don't work
work
too well.
Yeah, you play a Cuphead guy, and he makes a deal with the devil.
Right.
So you got to go and take souls back.
Right.
I was only able to get like 6 out of the 15 or 18, so
Yeah.
I'll watch the ending on Netflix.
All right. I mean, well, soul catching is pretty hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. Item number 2, Red Dead Online gets a content update. We were telling you guys before about the Red Dead Online players dressing up as clowns and a bit of a protest. Well, whether it worked or not, I don't know. I guess so, because they're getting a content update. But they had this new content update out called The Naturalist, which if you're like me and you watch YouTube, you have seen countless commercials for. But yes, it is called The Naturalist. It has this whole thing with frontier pursuits and animal rescue missions. Legendary animals have been added, new dynamic events, new items and stuff like that. But I guess they got what they wanted. You guys got any thoughts on that?
I'm happy for my in-laws. They play a lot of Red Dead Online. Should be something cool for them to do. I heard it was from listening to other podcasts that it's a lot of what the single player was doing, and they put it finally in the multiplayer. So cool, man. I mean, I'm glad they listened. I'm sure it was being made before all this went down, but I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can also appreciate it as a person that plays mostly only multiplayer games online. It keeps the game fresh. So to see it actually get an update, whether you said the clown thing worked or not, I think it's great.
They get some content. They get to stick with this game and keep giving Take-Two their money. So, there you go. News item number 3. There's been a huge Nintendo leak, or they're calling it the Nintendo Giga Leak, which is kind of a continuation of other leaks that have been happening with Nintendo this year. And with that, Pikmin Deluxe, or Pikmin 3 Deluxe Edition was announced for an October release. That's interesting. You guys got any thoughts on these leaks?
On the leaks, they're pretty interesting. I've been hearing a lot of like debate whether they should even be, if this is something cool or if it's something kind of like horrible, because this was stolen property.
Yeah.
You know, someone went in and they took a whole bunch of emails from Nintendo, and there's a lot of cool stuff in there. There's artwork of like Yoshi before he was Yoshi, different kind of games. There's sound and music in there. There's entire code for games.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also like private emails between people. Someone was doing a digital diary, and that's all up on there too. So it's like cool for Nintendo fans, but at the same time, it's like, this is kind of dirty. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all unfortunate about the bad stuff. At this point, I was thinking before you said that with all these leaks happening, that kind of sounds like it's on purpose. But with that, I don't think it is.
Yeah, I can't imagine Nintendo being happy.
Yeah.
I don't think they've commented yet, but Nintendo is a very like tight-knit company. They don't like anything getting out. There was a few ideas in this leak from like original Nintendo game that they were put on like a future game 20 years later, you know, just the concept of the game. So
Yeah.
they like to keep that thing tight because they don't ever know when they're going to use that stuff again.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and for Pikmin 3, whoop-de-doo. I mean, cool. You know, we've been begging for something, and Pikmin 3 is not what I want, but it's something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo, if you're not making Cory happy, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
This is. I'll give you that. Sure. I'll give you that.
I've got to argue for the Nintendo fans here, okay?
I got
am
you.
the Nintendo fan here.
I
I've got
got
to
you.
argue for them.
I got you because I was doing research for this topic in particular, and the only thing I could gather while doing topic is just how much I didn't care.
Or you fell asleep doing it.
And I'm like, who even really cared? Okay, you mean they had a design for Yoshi before the real Yoshi? That just sounds like how things are done. Like that just sounds like how you eventually have an idea and then you refine the idea. But
all right, here's the deal. For the last couple of years, there's been a lot of talk about like the history of gaming. Like people don't store that stuff. You know, companies will get rid of everything they've done for games they worked on, and they really want to preserve that.
Game
so
archival
this is like finding, you know, an Egyptian tomb or something.
Yeah.
You know, you got all this good material that was never released, and it's still intact from that long ago. So it's a big deal for, you know, people that like the history of video games.
yeah, and for company privacy, there was one thing that did catch my interest was apparently they had an idea in the works in 2004, I think it said, for a like a MMO Pokemon game where you could have your Game Boy Advance and you could plug it into your PC, and it's supposed to be able to do kind of like a Coliseum style online battle and all that stuff. Like, so that's cool. But
Yeah, Game Freak is awesome.
okay.
I mean, I really liked that idea because like the GameCube had a connector. You can put your Pokemon game in there and play it on Pokemon.
Coliseum or Stadium?
Yeah.
I think you could import your Pokemon and keep them at the level they were and kind of store them there and stuff like that.
So I mean, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But they got to figure out this leak situation.
It's happening way too often.
Yeah, in them particular. Yeah. News item number 4: Doritos leaks the next Call of Duty game name. This is such a stupid thing that happened that I thought it was great that we talked about it just briefly. So the Doritos did a advertisement because Doritos is the default snack of gamers, and they're doing some collaboration with Activision and Call of Duty, and they leaked that the next game is Black Ops Cold War. This is all dumb. You guys
Such
thoughts?
a stupid name. Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War.
Right.
And Cold Wars are kind of like wars that aren't fought, right? Like that's the concept of a Cold War.
Right.
So it should be a very interesting one where you don't have to do any fighting in this Call of Duty.
And
I'm excited.
They're just gonna walk around talking to each other.
It's all political.
Yeah.
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 It's all espionage. It's all going to be House of Cards.
I mean, this happens every year with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Every single year, the name gets
Oh yeah,
leaked,
they have like 3 or
and
4 different companies making the games.
It feels like you were saying earlier. It feels like it's on purpose. You know,
Yeah.
whatever they can do to get the hype. And maybe they shouldn't trust Doritos. I don't know. I don't trust Doritos.
It's the default. It's the default chip of Game Champions,
Right.
right? Just like Mountain Dew is the default drink
Right.
of Game Champions.
I think they need to combine the two,
Yeah.
Like a smoothie.
like a Mountain Dew Dorito chip.
A Mountain Dew code red Dorito. Yeah. Just get the ultimate of gamification into a single chip.
Can we copyright this?
I don't
some
think we
money
can
for that?
copyright other
Don't
people's
think
stuff.
No.
don't think we can copyright
All
it,
right.
unfortunately.
Send them a letter.
Just shout us out at least. We'll
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll appreciate it as you continue to feed poison to people. Item number 5. Ghost of Tsushima becomes the fastest selling original PS4 IP. It sold 2.4 million copies in its first 3 days of launch, which beats Horizon Zero Dawn, Bloodborne, Days Gone, and of course, Knack. It's very impressive. The game is very good. We will discuss it a little bit later, but not. I don't know if is it surprising. It's surprising maybe from the standpoint that we're dealing with a pandemic and a recession in some sense. But then maybe that makes sense because we're in a pandemic, so people can't leave home. So maybe they just want to play video games and they want to be samurais. So
I think that's what it is. I think the pandemic has really helped out video games across every company
Yeah.
in terms of sales and profits and all that. And it's a good game. It deserves to be, selling as much as it's selling. But I do think the pandemic's helped it out a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the artistic area of the world has really benefited from this pandemic.
yeah, that's true. Yes.
It's hard to find board games.
True. I would say the two biggest benefactors have been gaming and people who start OnlyFans sites, which is a different topic for a different podcast. Let's go to item number 6. Battletoads going to release on August 20th. Now, I saw that I was able to pre-install this on my Xbox with the whole Game Pass thing. So I went ahead and did that. I do not care about the game, but I can play it. So I'm just going to try it and see what happens. What do you guys think about this game?
I was very excited when you guys said Battletoads, and then I watched the trailer, and then I was disappointed because the art I'm definitely not a fan of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like those reboot of cartoons. We had talked about this yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
It looks just kind of simplistic art style. But we did have a conversation about beat-em-ups a month ago? After
It was
Streets of Rage,
yep.
if we would all be excited for the next big one. And this is the next big one. And
So I'm going to give it a shot.
none of us are excited.
I'm not excited at all, but
None
I'll give
of
it a
us.
shot.
But what's the difference? Is it because Streets of Rage has been so soon? Or is it really just this art style?
I think it's the art style. We just...
I just find the idea of beat 'em ups being a toad just not as interesting as being a human person.
I'd rather be a turtle.
I was literally going to say that.
Much rather be a turtle. But, yeah, I'm going to give it a try. But,
Yeah.
Streets of Rage had that beautiful art style, had that great music, great combat system. Will Battletoads have that? I hope. I do have a little bit of nostalgia for it. I did play the old ones, Battletoads
same.
and Double Dragons and all that stuff. So I want to try it. I hope it's good. There hasn't been a lot of fanfare for it, though, so that makes me feel like they're kind of just shoving it out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
oh,
gonna put it
here
out
it
there.
is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think I'm not confident if there's been a longer gap between the last Streets of Rage game versus the last Battletoads.
I mean, they've both been dark for so long. It's
Yeah.
hard to...
Yeah, wasn't the original Battletoads on Nintendo?
they probably made one
Was that
for...
like 90s or something? Like,
Definitely 90s.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, I know some people who are like absolute, Battletoads fanatics. I'm not. I've barely known anything about the original game, so. But I'm going to definitely give it a try because
See if it's
Because Microsoft told me to. They said,
Worth
hey,
it?
do you want to download this? I'm like,
Right,
okay,
right.
cool. They're like, it's only 11 gigabytes. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So this won't take up all the limited space you gave me. And news item number 7. Steam has got a major issue on their hands here. They have a game error occurring with games are not showing up in the library is already bought. Apparently, this is happening to one game in particular with Dead by Daylight and with a bunch of other Bethesda games. So I'm guessing Doom, Skyrim stuff, anything like that. I don't know. That's a weird error that happened, but it's happening. So, guys, you want to shed any more insight or opinions on this?
Yeah, it affecting DVD would really hurt me if it
Right.
actually happened to me. So far, I've been able to play it,
Okay.
and I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm very far removed from the PC world, so no comment.
Okay. I got you. Makes
Respectfully,
perfect
no
sense.
comment.
Okay. All right. Well, with no comment, we will then head to the roundtable. We will talk about the 3 biggest news items that we have interest in. And who would like to go first on this? We have, once again, some somewhat heavy content, subject matter, but so we want to start with that and then go with the other ones, or how we want to do that?
Might as well do top heavy again.
Okay. All right. Well, David, that is on you. What has your interest here?
All right, so the article is the Ubisoft execs resign over sexual misconduct scandal. So we talked about this on the last episode, and to see some action being taken, I think is a very great thing. Now, it says resigned and not, fired or let go, so there might be some, business stuff that I don't know about where they had to resign. But to see a change is great. I'm very excited to see more action taken.
All right. So there was, I believe there was, I don't know how many more. I read before that it was 3. So there was 3 that stepped down. One, and I'm going to pronounce the names because they're all French and I love doing this. So one guy is named, I believe, Sergei Haskoe. The other one is Chief Creation Officer Cecile Cornet. Oh, actually, I'm doing it wrong. So Sergei Haskoe is the Chief Creation Officer. Cecile Cornet is the Global Head of HR. And Yanis Mallet is the CEO of the Canadian studios. I believe they have one studio in Montreal and one in Toronto. Haskoe was the guy who basically said, this game gets made, this game doesn't get made. He was one of the most powerful guys in the company, apparently, viewed as being untouchable. And he resigned, stepped down.
Which, from what I read about him, that's the reason a lot of Ubisoft games are so similar, because he has been canceling so many games that try to go off, to the side a little bit. It's also another reason why there's not been as many female leads from Ubisoft, because he just says they won't sell. So obviously that's much smaller than the sexual allegations, but this guy kind of seems like a turd.
I'm very glad he's gone then.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of I forget his last name, but the Andrew something, the guy, the CEO at Electronic Arts.
Wilson?
Andrew Wilson, there you go, where he creates the loot box ultimate team kind of thing, and they try to incorporate that into every single game because it's been successful in some aspect. And it'll work for some stuff, but it's not going to work for everything, and it's not going to work forever. You got to change it up. So, but yeah, that guy in particular was like a crazy, crazy dude. So it is good he's no longer in a position of power. Cornette, she was the global head of HR. A lot of these issues and allegations that people brought up disappeared in HR because, as we know, HR is there to protect the company. And so she protected the company, at least that's how it appears. There's some other people, too, that I think went away. One of the guys was the creative director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think he had stepped down a little while ago. So, yeah, people are stepping down or getting fired and clearing house, and that's good because they need to rebuild that culture to be something that's not misogynistic and oppressive. It needs to be inviting. You're creating video games. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Right.
Can we just, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so I guess, Cory, you want to go with your item here?
Yeah, sure. So you want to read what the item is? I'm already on another.
Yeah, sure. So your item was, with Spider-Man.
Yes, Spider-Man as a character was announced as a PS4 exclusive for the new Marvel's Avengers game.
Correct.
And at first I was a little upset. I'm like, man, this shouldn't be happening. But then the Crystal Dynamics studio head, Scott Ammo, had a statement. Let me read it for you guys real quick. So the beauty of Spider-Man and what Spider-Man represents as a character and as a world is, again, it comes back to the relationship with PlayStation and Marvel. We happen to be, once you can execute and deliver, when it comes down to choices of where and what Spider-Man can be, that's a relationship question that PlayStation absolutely has the rights to. And as you guys know, with Sony's ownership there, and Marvel with Sony saying, hey, this is something we can do. This is something we can do on this platform. And so what we do as creators is say, this is an opportunity that we can make something unique and fun and awesome that we all, and you just talked about Black Widow, and to be able to have that experience. So we love the idea of being able to bring this character to the PlayStation players. But I really do think people will look at this and say, yeah, okay, we get that. We can understand the business behind that. But in general, we're making this game for everybody.
That is a great, telling, insightful statement that he let out there.
That was just word vomit.
Ah.
It made no sense. It's
yeah,
it's
I was like,
poor
what?
excuse.
Right.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. I mean, Spider-Man is the biggest Marvel character in my opinion. I would say a lot of people's opinions. And to have him exclusive for just one of the two systems that it's coming out for, it really sucks, especially for the Xbox players.
Yep.
I know these things have kind of taken place in the past. I think one of the earlier Marvel Ultimate Alliances for Xbox 360 had some exclusive characters, but I feel like it's never been this big of a character.
Right.
So it sucks for him, and I don't like it. That being said, I will have it on PlayStation, so I'm not going to miss this as much, but sorry, Xbox guys.
Yeah. I mean, well, you won't have to feel too bad for the Xbox guys, because that kind of segues into my news item, which is Halo Infinite is going to be shipping. They're going to have split-screen co-op, and the multiplayer is going to be free to play. And there's been some promises or some assertions of things running at 120 frames per second. So let me just kind of get into my notes here to detail a little bit of my opinion on this. So the first thing is 343 announcing that Halo will have split-screen co-op mode again. All right. Great way to wake up.
It's a throwback, right?
Yeah, what game was the last one it was on? 3?
Was it whichever one was before Guardians? The fifth one.
No idea.
Whichever one was before the last one they made.
Oh, so 4 had it.
Yeah.
And they took it out for 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
But split screen has always been a part of the series. Mm-hmm. It's a staple of the series. It's always been a part of the culture around Halo. And you decided to take it out to make more money, and it didn't work. So now you put it back in. Here's how I kind of look at it. This is kind of like how I've always looked at things, right? You have 3 levels. Let's say there's 3 levels of intelligence, and you have smart, common sense, and then stupid, right? Split screen is not smart. Split screen is common sense for Halo. Then they went and got stupid, right? Then they saw how it backfired, so then they went and got common sense again. So they're not smart. This is just common sense. So that's point number 1. The second thing that needs to be mentioned is the Halo going multiplayer free to play. So apparently you don't have to buy the game in order to play the multiplayer. Okay. All right. I mean, that's sold like most of your games.
Right.
So now that no one has to buy your games to play your multiplayer, all right.
So would you constitute that as stupid?
There's something fishy going on with that.
Well, here's where it gets. So it's going to get further back into that because what they're going to do is they're basically setting up Halo Infinite to be Destiny, right? They talked about having a 10-year plan for it. So they want the multiplayer to be free to play, to capture the model of a Warzone or a Destiny or anything like that, so they can constantly add content to it. I don't think they have any ambitions on creating another Halo game. If anything, they'll probably do something like, I think, I forgot the company, but like Telltale used to do, or it's like you add episodes or something like that. So they'll probably do that for single player stuff. But as far as like multiplayer, it's just going to be there. They'll just constantly add stuff to it, live service type of thing. That's what it seems like they're doing. So
So
That's their plan.
What's this do for the brand of Halo, in your opinion? It lowers it, right?
It lowers it because you're emulating. You're trying to
not as
copy.
valuable.
It's like, wait a minute. So now you're trying to do what Bungie's doing.
Right.
Like I don't. You know.
I mean, Halo should be something that you go out and it's like an event.
It's an event.
Right, but it's not anymore.
No.
It's like, oh, I can play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing 80% of people don't even care about the story anymore because they ruined it so much with 4 and 5.
Right.
All you're going to be interested in is the multiplayer.
Is the multiplayer.
I never cared. But, that's me, multiplayer
And I mean,
guy.
Halo's multiplayer has always been great. And I will say they may have a trick up their sleeve. And it's going to be another thing that copies. And it's going to further, devalue the prestige of Halo. But I will say, if they put a Battle Royale mode in Halo multiplayer, I'm going to play that nonstop.
They said they won't.
Okay.
They said the only BR we're interested in is the Battle Rifle.
Yeah, but COD also said Modern Warfare wouldn't have it. And like a
COD's
month
a
later,
liar.
it had it.
And then there's the other thing again of the claim multiplayer will run at 120 frames per second. Right now, what I would like Xbox and Microsoft to do is stop talking about frames per second because I have no idea what the hell you guys are doing. Because before you were saying that something's going to be Xbox Series X, specific, and then you get asked, okay, does that mean that games that are made for it specifically from other publishers are going to have to run at least 60 frames? Well, we don't really want to put an edict on frames per second. Then why do you keep talking about it?
The messaging for Xbox is getting a little slippery here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's getting wackadoo. Like
we do a podcast and it's still kind of like
it's what are you talking about?
Kind of have to Zodiac killer it with all these different things, And the common consumer, it's going to be like, what does what, where, how, why.
So this runs at 120 FPS. Does this run at 60 FPS? Does this run at 30 FPS? I mean,
right.
I can't imagine a company like Activision or Ubisoft is going to say, let's put the extra work in to make sure that we have this running at a smooth 60 frames per second when they've been having Assassin's Creed run at 30 frames per second for the past 7-8 years.
Right.
Let's just put it out and make money,
Right. And some people don't even know what FPS even means. So, like, it doesn't even matter to them.
Yeah.
First-person shooter.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, that's Microsoft, Xbox, Halo doing one thing where they're regaining common sense and then doing another thing by devaluing the prestige of their franchise, which is fantastic. That's exactly what you want to do when you've been getting your can whooped by first-party exclusives from your other competition, is to further devalue the main first-party asset you have when you've already devalued everything else. Crackdown, gone. Sea of Thieves, bomb. It's what I mean. What else? Gears of War, okay. Like, it's been maintaining, but it's not exceptional in any way.
Now, does this increase the value though of Xbox Live? Because the free-to-play multiplayer means you can download the multiplayer, but you still need gold to be able to play it, right? Or are they saying you don't even need gold? Which would then bring us back to last level's episode, or last level's talk, where we were saying, I think they're getting rid of gold permanently. Do you think that's a possibility where they just make online?
Well, I heard
free?
they're not getting rid of gold.
I read that too.
Yeah.
But as COD says, they're liars.
Who knows? But that's my gripe with Halo Infinite and Microsoft. Figure your bleep out. I'm sorry.
No, you're trending down now on Xbox. You were trending up, and now it's a little bit lower in terms of where the arrow's pointing.
Yeah. Because the one thing that would definitely get me to not want to mess with you is just stupid.
Right.
If you throw a big bucket of stupid in front of my face, I'm gonna really start to leave and go the other way.
Okay.
And this looks and sounds stupid.
Fair enough.
So
you kind of just want them to shut up when the game comes out. You
just
can play it.
Shut up and make good games. Just make good games. Like, enough already. Just make good games. And they've yet to, really. So.
Right.
We transition from that to what we believe to be good games with what we're playing. So, Cory, what have you been playing?
All right, me first. I've been playing a little bit of Carry On, which I know you've been playing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Carry On is kind of like a Metroidvania monster game. You take control of the monster. That's the main character, and you're going through these buildings, and you're you're killing scientists and you're killing soldiers and stuff like that, and you're trying to make your way through. I don't know what the end goal is yet.
Right.
The game's okay, little repetitive. My biggest issue, I think, is just like the world and finding out where I need to go next. It's all very the same color, so it kind of blends in.
Right.
I think I like the idea of the game better than I like that actual game.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but it's kind of fun, I guess.
Yeah.
For short spurts. And I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
Which I am still loving. I still highly recommend it. I do have a couple negatives, though, that I really hadn't talked about before. I got into forced stealth, which for me is always like the worst of the worst. I hate forced stealth. You know, I'm no good at it. So it's only been a couple times. They were relatively easy, but I can imagine later in that game getting to a part where it's like, I can't handle this. And the story feels a little disconnected from the way I'm playing.
Okay.
So through the cutscenes, Jin Sakai is, he's supposed to be this ghost of Tsushima. He's doing things that you shouldn't do as a samurai. I'm not doing those things. I'm walking up to people like, would you like to fight? I'm being honorable. So then I do that all game, and, I get into a story. Don't lose yourself, Jin. I haven't, Uncle. I've been good. I've been cool. It's fine. So, those are minor gripes, though. A couple more positives that I felt about the game. I had a couple boss battles, and I don't know if you've got into like a boss battle like that, but they feel super personal. Like the camera goes right over your shoulder, and it feels heavy. It feels cool to do that fight.
Yeah.
It's really not much different than the regular fights, but it just has a different appeal to me.
Okay.
And then I love during the missions, it feels like every mission is the time and the weather is made specifically for that mission. Now, I know that's not new for all games, but it just feels like they put a lot of time and effort into making sure a certain emotion or feeling is felt when you play that mission.
Yeah.
And I just read, actually, that the developer, the director of the game said, the more you play like a ghost, the worse the weather gets in that game, which is kind of cool. You might have thunderstorms or just bad weather overall. It's been nice and sunny for me.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
It is very interesting, yeah. I do like that.
Yeah.
So those are the two I've been playing right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really good game. I'll go ahead and transition real quick. So I've been playing some Ghost of Tsushima, and I've progressed probably not as far as Cory has, but I've been playing some of it. I really enjoy it. It's a really good game. I plan on trying to get lost in it a bit more, but just haven't had the time. I've also played some Carry On, as Cory mentioned. Kind of the same thing. I like the idea more than I like the execution, I believe, for this one. From what I checked, it's supposed to be like 3 to 4 hours in total of game. And I don't think I can make it 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Feeling the same way. I think I have 2 hours in, and I kind of feel like I'm done.
Yeah.
In terms of just, I got what this game is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The combat, I don't think is anything special. It's fun to watch, because you have all these tentacles sprouting everywhere.
Yeah.
The movement's fun, but I feel like I'm full.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, that's how I've been feeling about that. Honestly, probably won't revisit that one. And then I've been playing some Mountain Blade Bannerlord because they put out a new update, bunch of different things they improved. Most important of all, you get to finally celebrate with your soldiers when you win a bloody, hard-fought battle. There's about 3 or 4 emotes you can now do that are built into the game. You don't need a mod anymore, so that's cool. Way to go, Tale Worlds Entertainment, putting in that celebration ability about 12 years after you started making these series of games. Good job on you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. David, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing the Dead by Daylight, and in
How's
that game, it's I might be tired of it soon.
You'd recommend it?
Yeah, I've only put like 600 hours in it so far.
My God.
I might have to put in another 600 to see for how I really feel about it.
Okay.
But each killer and each survivor each have 3 perks that pertain to themselves, and if you get to level 40 with either one, you can unlock it for everyone else. And I finally did that.
Nice.
Because there's I can't remember offhand, but I think there's 9 killers and 11 survivors. So that took a long time.
600 hours.
Yeah. So it's nice to be able to unlock everything with everybody. And I've been playing more Eterna than usual. I just miss music games. So to really enjoy getting into the rhythm again, it's very nice. Since I've been playing this game pretty much since '04. So to put more time into it again, it's nostalgic. I really like it. And then, of course, the Overwatch. I just can't get enough. That game I've put in about 1,200.
Oh my gosh. Is there anything on the horizon for that in terms of characters or maps? Like, what's the next update? Or are they just kind of doing, like, multiplayer, like, balancing?
Yeah, they're always doing bug fixes, and now there's this new experimental card. So instead of a PTR kind of system, they just put it on the live on its own separate card to see how everyone likes it.
Okay.
And I think they're not doing any more heroes until Overwatch 2.
Okay. And when's that? Next year sometime?
Yeah, there's no release date. Cool. That's it.
All right. Got some games. Nice, short and sweet, but we obviously got some more games we'll be talking about. So we're going to take a quick break right here, and then we will be back. We've got some returning segments that we really enjoy, and we've got a new one that we think you guys are going to dig. May stir up some blood here because it can be some controversy happening. We will see on the other side of the break with more Thoughts and Players. Hey there, players. We are excited to say that Thoughts and Players is moving to one podcast episode a week with the addition of bonus levels. Every other week, Cory, David, or myself will discuss a single gaming topic that intrigues us. It could be something current or something totally out of left field. Some levels may have all three of us, two of us, one of us, and a special guest, or we may ride solo. Either way, we hope you'll listen and contribute to the conversation. Thanks for tuning in, and now, back to the show. And we are back with more Thoughts and Players. Now, we are moving into the segment that always follows the break. We love it, you love it. It is, Was It Worth It? And for this segment, I'm going to be taking the reins a bit because I'm going to discuss a game that I have discussed more than once, including a bit earlier in this level, and that is Mount and Blade Bannerlord. So Mount and Blade Bannerlord came out in early access March 30th of this year. It is the follow-up to Mount and Blade Warband, which came out 10 years ago, at least, I think. You return to Calradia. It's been, divvied up into a bunch of different empires. There's Valandians, there's the Empire. There's several different segments of the Empire, the Northern Empire, Southern Empire, Western Empire, and different stuff like that. And you're basically tasked with, in this, doing what you did in Warband, which is going out there, either fighting for different factions, rising in the ranks, gaining renown and fame, and eventually starting your own kingdom, having your own towns and own castles, building your own armies, and whatnot. Getting married, having children, all that other stuff. You want to do that too. Or if you just want to be, someone that goes around and kicks butt and takes names, you can do that too. So I got this game the day it released because it had something going on Steam where if you owned Warband, you got an extra 5 or 10% off. So where it released at 50, I believe I got it for 40. So that's kind of where I'll be coming from it from a valuation standpoint. So some things that I like about it, some things that I think they improved, because obviously when you have almost a dozen years to come out with a sequel, you've probably improved some things. So besides the fact that the graphics look better, to me noticeably better, the combat feels more gratifying. It's tighter. Especially things like archery, the bows, it feels like you have a bit more control over them. The combat, as far as the melee, they added some depth to it in regards to, if you move, how you attack someone, if you attack them from the left side or the right side, from high or from low, and it's all based upon where you aim and how your character moves when you're fighting with them. But the combat there, I know a lot of people were saying they were having some difficulty with it because they did make it a bit more difficult, but overall it's pretty good. It's the same. The one thing they did is they made the sieges more difficult. Before, In Warband, if you want to siege a town or siege a castle, you gather your army, and then you go to where you want to siege, and then you're going to say, hey, we're going to siege you. And then you start the attack, and you either go up steps or you climb a ladder, and then you fight on the walls. Well, now they have it where you have to develop siege equipment. So that could be catapults, that could be battering rams or something like that. And it helps expedite the process of the sieges. Also, they have it placed now where inherently when you're in a siege, or if you're experiencing someone sieging you, the defenders have an innate bonus. So the defenders are always in the best position to defend their town, defend their castle, unless they're outnumbered tremendously. So that makes sieges more strategic, which therefore makes them a bit more involved. I think that works. I think if you're going to siege a town, it should probably take some time. That just seems like it makes sense. And also the trade and merchant mechanics they've done. It's more thought out. Now they have it where every major city usually has one or two minor cities that also support the trade that go through it. And those minor cities usually have a certain resource they have. So it could be iron ore, it could be linen or something like that. So if you go to a major city and decide to build a workshop, basically a business that creates a good, and you have to use a combination of these resources, you have to be thoughtful about what you put in the town. Because if you're trying to create a metal shop or something, or like a blacksmith or something like that, and you don't really have easy access to iron ore, it makes making money a lot more difficult. It's actually a lot better to, if that's the case, set up a blacksmith somewhere place that does have iron ore access, and then sell them in that town that doesn't have a lot of iron ore access. And therefore you can market your resources or your products at a markup, make more money. It's a lot more thoughtful than previous ways and doing it in other games, especially in Warband. So those are all the good things about it that I really enjoy. I mostly play the single player version of it. What it's really known for is the multiplayer. The multiplayer is great. It is as hectic and chaotic and ridiculous as it's been before. It's really fun. The multiplayer is just fantastic. I mostly don't play multiplayer because I'm someone that likes to play single player, kind of come up with the whole narrative and idea and the story in my head and work on that. So that's why I tend to trend towards single player, but the multiplayer is good. Single player is good. Like I said, spend hours and hours in that. So those are all the good things. What's some of the bad things possibly? Well, remember when I said in March 30th that it released in early access. So it's an early access game. What does that mean? Bugs, fixes that may break things like saves or whatever. That's especially the case when you're like me, because you love PC gaming because of all the mods. So you put in mods and then they fix stuff and then it breaks the mods, and the broken mods breaks your saves and all that goodness, right? So that's maybe a thing that, The other aspect is, and this is kind of the thing a lot of people talked about, is that it took you a dozen bleeping years to make this game. And at launch, there's some things that we expected that weren't in there. One thing I think I had mentioned in past levels was the wedding, like getting married and stuff. In Warband, there's this really cheesy cutscene that plays when you're marrying your wife and you bring her down and you guys are in front of a bishop or whatever, and you're, and you make this really cheesy kiss and then they cheer, right? And it's so lame and cheesy. And that's beautiful. With this, you just get a wife somewhere, right? You're courting a lady, and then before you know it, boom, boom, you're married, and she's in this city over here that you may or may not have anything involved with. That's not great. There's other things like that need to be fixed, and they're being fixed. They do consistently update the game. I'll give them that, and that's a good thing. So, there's got some problems, and the real question with was it worth it, which is why we created this segment, is because we have to look at it from a valuation standpoint. So, like I said, I paid $40 for this game when it came out, and I think usually it goes for $50. So, do I think this game is worth a $50 purchase price? I really, really, really enjoy this game. and I put a lot of time into it. If you are not someone that is absolutely in love with what Warband does, and that Mountain Blade does, I don't think it's worth it yet. There's too many things they've got to fix. They've got to streamline some things in there to really make it a lot more accessible to people. But bug fixes, I was having issues. So the PC that I was playing it on runs a GTX 1660. It's obviously not a 2080 Ti, so it's not a beast like that. But it's also not an RX 560 or a GTX 970 or something like that. Like it's pretty medium bar, and I was having issues running things and loading things. So if you're someone that has more of a casual type of PC setup, you're not going to get the best experience out of this game, and that's just mostly poor optimization on the part of Tillworld's Entertainment. I bought it at $40. Is it a good valuation at $40? I would say, for me, it was. I say if you can get this game for $35 or under, it becomes worth it. This may be a bias because when I bought Mountain Blade Warband, I bought it and I didn't pay whatever the high when it first came out price is. And again, this game is in early access. So when it's out of early access, they may boost it up to full price. Most of the time, that doesn't really happen with bigger games. They do that with more so with smaller indie games. But it's gonna be falling in Steam sales. So if you see it in a Steam sale and this thing is going for $34.99, $29.99, I'd say maybe snag it then, because you can lose a lot of time in it. The gameplay, it's janky, but the main core of the game is fun. It can be addicting if you're really into it, but it's a very specific kind of game you have to get into. So that's where I'm coming from in regards to, again, if it's the $50 that it usually goes for, nah, it's just not worth it from that standpoint. $40, a little bit more, but I think if you're getting it $35 and under, it's probably a good. Was it worth it? But overall, was it worth it? I'd have to say no. That's it for me.
I gotta ask you a question real quick. So you mentioned the cheesiness of the first game.
Yeah.
I had the first game on Xbox or PlayStation 4, whatever one.
Real quick, the first game is actually on Xbox Game Pass right now.
Okay.
Mountain Blade Warband, I mean.
Yeah, so the cheesiness, that's something I loved about the first game. I mostly only played multiplayer, but the graphics being bad was actually a feature for me because they were so bad, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
They were like almost polygon, and you're shooting guys in the head and they're falling and they're making hilarious sound effects, as they fall over. And like there's an arena level where you change the camera and you look at the people, they're cardboard cutouts. It's like a PS2 game in terms of graphics. And like you said with the combat, they're swinging their arms around in positions that an arm can't go.
Right.
But the combat's excellent in my opinion.
It's
so
fun.
do you think because this game shored up some of those things, it did take away from that like that funny factor that kind of helps you enjoy a game a little more?
Well, no, I would say that because the graphics are better,
but they're bad still.
But they're still kind of yeah.
I was worried. I was worried this game would have good graphics, and that's the only game I worry about that with.
No, my thing is more so that for a lot of the issues and brokenness that it has for a game that took this long to develop, it should have a lot more of those things shored up, and the feature set should be a lot bigger than it is. And like I said, it will eventually get there with all the updates. But we're like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months post-launch.
Right.
So, I don't know.
In 12 years, it doesn't seem like that big of a leap from the first one.
Correct.
To be like, hey, 12 years later, we got this game. It's obviously better, but...
Right.
It's like, how much better?
Right.
You get 12 years to work on it.
Yeah, 12 years to work on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope it comes to console soon. Because I don't really play on PC. I know the first one did. I don't know how long it's going to take for this one to come out.
Yeah, that's another thing that's really odd to me. Is that because the other one was finally made available on consoles. I think at least 6 or 8 years after it came out on PC. If it was finally available on PS4.
So that's how long I have to wait.
So you might have to wait 6
more
to 8 years. Yeah, that may be it for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's the beginning of August, but I think I was worried it was going to have good graphics. Maybe the weirdest thing I hear this month.
No, for real. I think that was such a feature of the first game.
Yeah.
Like, Jeremy, do you agree at all, or is that like the first thing you mod? Like, I need better graphics.
Oh, I didn't mod the graphics at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
Yeah.
like endearing, right?
Yeah. The first game is wacky and odd and
It's just fun.
so jank.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I talked before about that game, The Guild, that I played.
Yep.
Part of its charm is its jankiness.
Right.
So, yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, this game has jank, too. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But not worth it right now.
If it's $50 on Steam right now, it's not worth it.
In 6 to 8 years, when it comes out on PS5, maybe?
Yeah, if it comes out there at $29.99, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and
All
jump
right.
into it.
I'm excited. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yep.
Marking it on my calendar.
Well, obviously you'll have to wait 6 years. So
Dang it, I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope there's some good games in between.
I hope so.
hopefully, hopefully they got. Well, I don't know about PlayStation, but hopefully Xbox Series and Microsoft has Crackdown 4 just right, raring and ready for us to get into.
There's going to be destructible environments in that one.
Really?
I can feel it.
You think
Yeah.
they're actually going to be like cloud generated, like cloud processed?
It's all going through the cloud.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the big secret.
Oh wow!
Well, not even a secret. Everyone knows, and that's why it's such a next-gen game compared to those other ones
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's incredible. That almost sounds like something they said they were going to do.
that they made up.
Yeah, and then didn't do. That almost sounds like it. Yeah.
Did you play the multiplayer of Crackdown 3?
No.
No, because that's where it was supposed to happen, but...
No. It was supposed to happen in the whole game.
Yes, and then they backtracked like the
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
and said, "Oh, it's just gonna be a multiplayer."
Yeah.
And I got into that game, and it was like instantly like a turnoff for me. It just felt like a worse Crackdown 1 because
Yeah.
Crackdown 1 is like so revered to me. You know, it's just a fun game. That,
Yeah.
I don't know. Crackdown 3 was just not my
terrible.
cup of tea.
It's
That's
terrible.
Mount and Blade.
That is Mountain Blade. So now we're going to move on to our new segment. Now, one of the things that we always say at the beginning is, this Thoughts Players podcast, the brand new gaming podcast with bold takes. And this new segment allows us to flex those bold takes. This new segment is called But Actually. In this segment, we basically take maybe a common or a dominant consensus about something and tell you actually why that might not be it. So with this segment, I'm going to allow Cory to lead us off here.
Really?
Actually, you know what?
But you're going to take it away from me? You just gave it to me. This will be officially my first bold take on this podcast, so I'm very excited.
Okay. So you wanna hit this first?
No,
or?
let David go first.
Okay.
What?
Let David go first.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure, yeah, let's go.
All right, David.
I'm
first
nervous,
up.
David, okay?
So am I. I just came up with my topic today.
Jeremy, can you go first?
I mean, I could go first.
I mean, look. I'll go
If
first.
you could just give us a minute, we're going to rock, paper, scissors for it, actually.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. No, I can go first, but again, like I was saying before, I won't have much facts.
Which
Oh,
is
you don't
fine.
need facts to have opinions.
Cool.
That's how they work best, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that's kind of the meaning of bold takes. So then I'll start with my bold take. So this game has several Game of the Year award wins. This game is one of the best-selling games that Take-Two had when it's helped publish a game. Received 10s out of 10s from such prestigious outlets as the Kotaku and the IGN and the Game Spot former thingy, right? It's completely and totally regarded as one of the best open world games ever created. But actually, this game is barely above average. And this game is Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, let me tell you something, people.
Shame. Ding, ding.
Right. Let me tell you something, people. I don't know what games these other folks played before this one, other Grand Theft Auto games, because the limitation of customization that was immediately made obvious to me while playing this game, it's one of the biggest gripes I had about it, right? When you think about Vice City and San Andreas especially, You could go into places, buy a myriad of clothes. You could fly planes and helicopters. You could buy businesses and make money and stuff like that. Can you buy businesses in GTA 4? Can you guys?
No.
You can't, right? In GTA 4, is there much to wear for your character outside of a suit?
Nico's a simple man.
He
knows what he wants.
It's a simple man, right? It's a simple man, right? Let me ask you something, guys. You're all, fairly normal guys with fairly normal habits and fairly normal friends. You associate with, I guess. How many of them constantly call you to go play pool?
I've never played pool in my life.
I had one for about a month.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Are you telling me that you don't have a cousin that calls you every 4 hours to go play pool?
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
Strangely enough, yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you telling me that you don't have perhaps a girlfriend or something that calls you every 4 hours to hang out and take her somewhere?
We would all be blessed to have a cousin like that. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, sure. Right. It's the reason we don't have anything like that is because it is wholly unrealistic. And this is one of the mechanics that was in that game. The whole, hey, hang out with people, they call you, you go do this monotonous, stupid thing and retain your relationship or status with them for no real benefit at all from a game perspective, except for just immersion and learning what that is, it's just nonsense. Nico Bellic as a character is pretty interesting. I'm not going to say the guy is lame or something like that. He's got some character to him. So that's cool. His cousin has some character to him. The way they rendered Liberty City in that, you go back to it. I mean, it's fine, but that's all it is. It's fine, right? Other things they introduced in the game. One of the big things they introduced that it was lauded for. Hey, you actually can take cover in Grand Theft Auto 4. My question is, why even? Because it doesn't work. So, great way to introduce a cover mechanic in a game when surprisingly we've had games with cover mechanics in them before, surprisingly enough, guys. I mean, I'm trying to think, what year did this Grand Theft Auto 4 come out? Was it late 2000s, wasn't it? So
I wish we had a way to find out.
Yeah, I wish we had a way to find out. That's probably something, but like I said, I'm not coming on this with a lot of facts. That's usually a facts I probably would have. But anyway, I feel like around this time, there's been a bunch of other games that had cover systems in them. One being the original Gears of War, which had a fantastic cover system.
Was
I'm
my
not,
example.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it needs to have Gears cover system. I'm just saying it needs to have a cover system of which you can hide in cover. And it does not put you, instead of on cover inside a wall, on cover outside a wall, so you continue to get shot by the people you're trying to take cover from, right? This happens all the time. The game included these moral decisions that you had to do. I remember there's one where you have a guy, he's hanging. Do you help pull him up or do you let him fall? And the moral questions and the moral decisions, these happen throughout the entire game. Do you guys recall what the actual consequences of those moral decisions were?
No.
Okay, right, because there weren't any.
Oh.
So it's
Dun,
it's
dun, dun.
so it's I look back at the way this game was talked about, and I'm like, what are you guys? I don't understand. I remember buying a business in Vice City in Little Havana, and I forgot exactly what the business was, but to be able to do different stuff like that, to drive around and buy this business or buy that and be able to create cash flow and different stuff like that. Part of what you always tried to do in Grand Theft Auto was build a criminal empire to some extent. And in that game, you couldn't do it. Now, I don't know if that was a choice because they wanted to reflect the darker tone of the narrative of the game. That's cool. That's not what your game's about, though, bro. So you can do that, but I also need to be able to buy stuff and build my criminal empire. So GTA 4, game of the year, millions of copies sold, but actually, it's just a mediocre open world game.
That's fair. And the driving was horrible in that one.
It was.
And to ask a question, the Grand Theft Autos you compared it to, were those out already?
Yes.
Okay.
Much older. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Then I agree with you.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Grand Theft Auto 4 is a precursor to Red Dead Redemption 2. in terms of how they tried to go more realistic with it and take out more of the fun aspects. But that's not my butt, actually.
Oh, okay.
I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, and my other thing that I was going to add is I believe that my opinion stands even more, up or brightly because we have Grand Theft Auto 5, and we can see what an actual great Grand Theft Auto game looks and feels like. And GTA 4 can't sniff the butt of Grand Theft Auto 5. So, yeah, that's my butt actually. Who's ready to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay.
I'll go next. All right, so you have EA with Madden, you have 2K Games with NBA 2K, Activision with Call of Duty, and Ubisoft with all their formulaic games, right? They release uninspired sequels year in and year out. They don't put really any innovation or energy into those games, in my opinions. And they're kind of considered the worst of the bunch when it comes to that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
But actually, the worst is none other than the company that makes Pokemon, Game Freak. Yes. So, Game Freak, let me just tell you, Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise in the entire world. They have made $95 billion as a franchise. That's more than Star Wars, that's more than Marvel, that's more than Hello Kitty, which is actually number 2, which is a little surprising to me.
Rightfully deserved.
Do you think so? I mean, I see all the Hello Kitty stuff in here, so I guess so.
Hello. Yeah.
So what do they do with this profit, guys? They release the same game every single time with just minor improvements. And they cut content just like Madden does. You know, they cut content just to add it in years later. And that's what Pokemon does. Here's some examples of some of the content that they have done. So one of the biggest things was Pokemon following their trainers. That's awesome. Makes you feel like you're part of the world. They had that in Yellow with Pikachu following you, and they had it in the remakes Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where any of the Pokemon follow you. And they just took it out. They've now recently added it back into Shield and Sword through paid DLC. Does that sound like anyone we know? Activision, EA,
some
any of those types
people.
of company? Yeah. They've taken out trainer rematches. They've taken out seasonal changes in the world. They've taken out secret bases where you could build your base and kind of decorate it how you wanted. They've taken out visiting different regions, you know, because every game they take one region and you can no longer explore any of the other ones, which would be a cool little thing to do. They took out Mega Evolutions. They shown that off in Gen, 6, just to take them out a couple gens later. The biggest one, they took out the National Dex. So for Sword and Shield, you cannot complete the Pokedex to its full amount. There's just no way to transfer those Pokemon into the latest game. You've always been able to take your old Pokemon, transfer them through the trading cable or through Pokemon Bank, which is another really shisty kind of profit that they're using, where you could store your Pokemon on their servers for, it was $5 a year, but they don't need that money, you know? So you can't even complete a full Pokédex anymore.
That's half the fun of that game.
I gotta catch them all, right?
Yeah, that's
right?
literally the motto of the franchise.
You gotta catch them all, and you cannot in this game. But what they did do with the DLC, those areas have Pokemon that weren't part of this game. So now you can get your Pokedex a little more full with this DLC. Now, I'm not just hating on this DLC. I'm hating on the entire company because they refused for 20 years to make a mainline Pokemon. They make all this profit, and they stuck with the console where it was easiest to develop, and they didn't have to put effort into making 3D graphics or orchestral. That's the word, right? Orchestral soundtracks. You know, they took the easy way out. If you look at a game like The Legend of Zelda, and you look at its first iteration, and now you look at Breath of the Wild, the change between that games are so huge. They don't even look like each other.
Right.
Now, if you look at Pokemon Red and Blue, and you look at Pokemon Shield, you can see that not a lot has changed. Graphics got a little better, but in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the stories, Jeremy, what's the story of Pokemon?
Well, you start as a little boy that lives with his mommy,
Yes.
and then you go and meet a doctor in your town or a scientist, and he gives you a Pokemon, and you're supposed to go out there and fight other people with Pokemon and collect the Pokemon so he can study all the Pokemon.
That's correct. You collect 8 badges, and you defeat an evil team.
Right.
And that's been the story for this RPG. RPGs are known for their stories. That's been this story for the entire generation, except for Sun and Moon, which had something very similar. They don't put effort into their stories. They don't put effort into making the best graphics they can. So I told you this is the highest profit media franchise. How many employees would you expect this company to have in terms of just their game developers? Because Ubisoft has thousands, right? Thousands, 1,000 working on the new Assassin's Creed.
Well, I'd imagine them just being a studio developing on this one game, maybe like 300, 400?
143 people. Which is fine, but you have the money. The fans deserve their Breath of the Wild for Pokemon, or their Mario Odyssey, or any number of these big open world type games where, you just said MMO Pokemon game would have been cool. We said that earlier in the level. They haven't done that. They haven't innovated. They are EA. They release a slightly better version every single year or two, and fans eat it up. I was one of those fans. I will not be that fan anymore. So, Game Freak might seem like a great company, but actually, they are trash.
I like it.
Gotta sit and think about it. Not sure how to feel. Super. You're not super, but pretty decent Pokemon fan over here. So
are you?
Yeah.
How many have you bought? Not calling you out, I'm just asking. Have you bought the most recent ones and stuff?
The last one I bought was Pokemon Sun, I think.
Okay.
That was
on 3DS.
3D,
yeah, that was on 3DS. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to hate on you, but I mean, Pokemon Sun's not that much different than Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Pokemon whatever.
Well, right, but I got Pokemon Sun.
Right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I got Madden 21 this year, so I can't wait.
Right.
Yeah, the last one I got was Pokemon either White or Black. I forget which one exactly. And literally, the only difference between that and Pokemon Red was the EV training or whatever it was.
Yeah. And Pokemon Black and White was one of the last ones that actually had a decent story. Do you remember that game at all?
No, because I didn't even beat it. I got bored.
Well, they actually had a dude that could talk to Pokemon. His name was N. He had character development, which is crazy for Pokemon, but it shouldn't be because they're an RPG. An RPG, you play it for the characters. I'm hoping, and it seems like it's happening more, that a company makes a monster collecting game that just kind of makes Game Freak have to step their game up.
Yeah.
Same thing with EA. They don't have to make a better Madden because there's no one there to compete with them.
Yeah, I want NFL Streets back.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And Pokemon doesn't need to make a better Pokemon game because no one competes with them.
Right. What was that monster collecting game? There was one on Steam.
There's one called Ten.
Yeah.
Temin?
Yeah.
There was one that just came out that my buddy bought, Monster something or other.
Okay.
A lot of these games do come out, but they never really hit mainstream at all.
You're right.
Ni no Kuni 1 was a little bit of a monster collecting game.
Okay.
That was probably the biggest one that kind of pushed Pokemon, but I don't know. I don't think they're doing enough.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. David, what do you got?
All right, this one should be big. This one has a lot of games. It runs off besides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've actually probably put about 400 or 500 hours into this series because a lot of my friends played them, and that's why I played them, because I just didn't like them, and it is Halo. I really don't understand why so many people are into it. I really don't know how it's made as many games as they've made. And we were talking about Infinite earlier, they're trying to just dig in a hole, which I think they've done since after 3. That was the last one that I really played. I bought 4 and Reach, and literally put 10, 15 hours into both of them. Halo 3 is the one I played the most, because that's what my friends were really into. But everyone knows me. I played a lot of Battle Royales and stuff like that. I really like Titanfall, Apex, Call of Duty. So I like the different varieties of these first-person shooters. But Halo is boring.
Wow.
I don't think we're here to argue your points, but I think we both want to.
I mean,
Halo walked so Overwatch could fly.
That's fine. You know what? The Beatles made music, but I don't like the Beatles either.
What's wrong with this man?
Well,
That's a different subject.
it is a different subject of which I agree with him with. But opposite of that, because we're not going to talk the Beatles. It's Halo is a classic. It is a groundbreaker of the first-person shooter genre. Boring to describe it is boring.
Like, that's one of the games I played the whole entire campaign, beat it on Legendary and everything.
So
So do you mean you're just kind of played out on it right now? Like, you don't mean
No,
it's
not
boring.
even-
You mean I played so much that
No.
kind of. No, he does mean it. Jeremy,
yeah, like
he
I
means it's boring.
put 1,100 hours into Overwatch. I'm gonna put another 1,100. Like like I said, I only played it because a lot of my friends played it, and I wanted to play games with my friends, and that is what I was stuck with. I don't hate it because I was bad at it.
You know
I got
what?
to like level.
Were you bad at it?
No, like the Team SWAT or whatever. What's the highest level you can get? Like 40. Right?
50, I think.
I don't.
Well,
I don't
Halo
remember.
2. I played a lot of Halo 2.
Okay, but I was like 8 levels off of the highest level. I just couldn't get there because of the ranking system, the way it was just kind of messed up. But like, I wasn't terrible at the game. I don't hate it because I was a bad player.
It's just boring.
Yeah.
So when you're saying boring, are you talking about like just the core gameplay mechanics of the game, or are you like talking more so like maybe story or something like that? Or
Well, he's kind of talking multiplayer, right?
Yeah, like
so it wouldn't be the
like
story. Would it be the maps? Because I think the maps in Halo are excellent, right?
the maps weren't too bad actually. I can
too
admit
bad.
that. But
well, no, because I'm thinking because you said boring, right? Which I would disagree with until I thought about the story, and I was like, Halo's got some fair boring bits in it.
But he's talking multiplayer.
But if you're
Look,
talking more multiplayer,
like I said, I did complete the legendary story mode.
Right.
And like, I'm not gonna say it was repetitive and that's bad because I literally play repetitive games all the time, so that wasn't the issue either.
Let's break it down a little bit. Halo, for the first 2 at least, maybe even 3, it didn't really have a run button, right? Like, your chief kind of just ran at
They kind of
brisk
had
pace.
unless you like attach somebody with the sword,
Right, and it does take a lot of bullets to kill another guy. So you
which
can
is fine. I'm
you
used
can
to
get into a lot of fights
Call
where
of
you're
Duty.
going after someone, you get the first hit, and he kind of ducks out of the way and recharges his shield. That could be looked at as boring, I think. I don't look at it that way, but it could be.
I mean, here's the when you're saying boring.
I think
it just
the
didn't-
thing is, Jeremy's a little upset because both me and you actually picked hot takes, and he picked a take that is widely considered normal
No,
for
it's not-
all the
that's not
video
it.
game industry. No one
That's not
considers
it at
Grand
all.
Theft Auto 4 like a great game
But
anymore. They
okay,
all
maybe
see.
anymore, but at the time they rated that a 10 out of 10 after the 2 games that he compared it to,
He's
which
doing-
sounds way better.
He's doing a but actually for 15 years ago.
I mean, wait a minute now.
The real enemy here is Game Freak.
The real enemy is Game Freak.
I'm so lost. Help me.
So I agree. If you're saying boring, I thought about it. First time you said it, I'm like, Halo boring? I mean, I'm thinking about the action set pieces and different things like that. But then when I thought about it, Halo be a little bit boring.
Like the multiplayer.
Halo multiplayer be a little bit boring.
Really? I think they got great maps, a good weapon selection,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And it'd be a little bit boring.
Well, I mean, I haven't played the last 2 Halos multiplayer for more than 20
Yeah,
minutes.
because like I gave it a chance. I bought 4. My roommate at the time, he bought 4, which he never plays his Xbox. I was like, oh, heck yeah, let's go, and played 10, 15 hours, and that was
I'm
it.
thinking about maybe other multiplayer shooters. If we can focus, even if we're talking about ones that aren't battle royales.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about, the only game I really play online multiplayer shooter is going to be Titanfall 2.
Okay.
Which I put hundreds of hours.
When
into
I
that
think
one.
about the multiplayer of Titanfall 2, as far as action and pace and
Not
speed,
boring.
not boring.
That's
it's
correct.
fast paced.
That's correct.
And you're running
Yeah.
walls, and it's Titans, like
Yeah.
amazing.
coming around a little bit, okay? Because I'm thinking of like Overwatch, and I know those aren't too comparable, but still in Overwatch, whatever character you pick has a role that you can fill, even if you're not the greatest killer. You know, because once you get to a certain point in Halo, there's guys that are just better than you, and you feel like, you know, I'm not really helping the team, and if I can't kill, there's nothing else I can do in this game.
Right. When I think about Battlefield.
I've never liked Battlefield. I tried, and
Star Wars Battlefield
just Battlefield. Yeah.
I think that's fun. I don't think that's boring.
Yeah.
I put 3 hours into
boring,
one of them. I don't
you
even know
are
which
doing
one
a
it
lot
was.
of running in that one.
It could be depending on the type of mode and map and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right, so let's kind of counter this right now. Is Halo the most boring multiplayer first-person shooter?
No.
What's your list?
That was Battlefield.
Battlefield,
I played Battlefield.
Is the most boring first-person shooter.
It might have been 3 or something. I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't recall. I put like 3 hours into one of them, and I hated it.
But you can actually blow stuff up in their multiplayer.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Dynamic.
That's what enticed me.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I tried it because of that.
Halo is second most boring first-person shooter?
I really hated World at War, Call of Duty.
And then Halo.
I will never touch that game. And then probably Halo, yeah.
Wow. Jeremy, do you have a quickie here?
Of most boring multiplayer?
Without any research at all, yes.
Most boring multiplayer.
I think Call of Duty is extremely boring. I hate that it's mostly the first person to see the other guy will most likely win that firefight. To me, that is extremely boring.
I see where you're coming from.
Because you die right away if you're not in a set position. And the game, your character moves quick. You're expected to kind of fly through those levels. But if you come around the corner and there's a guy waiting for you, you're just dead.
Right.
Yep.
I don't get the experience I want at Call of Duty
You see,
at all.
I can fight you on that because I put 100 days alone in Modern Warfare 2.
I don't like it. It's just not fun. I like having that little, that dance between characters, is why I do like Halo. Because even if I'm getting shot right away, there's always a corner I can turn and kind of set myself up.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm more skilled than another player, I might be able to come back from that little bit of damage he did. Call of Duty, I take a little bit of damage, I am dead. Because that's all you can take is a little bit of damage. So for me, that's my most boring multiplayer, easily.
Gotcha.
I hate playing it.
Yeah.
I like zombies to a certain extent.
I hated zombies.
I do like their Battle Royale to a certain extent. I'm kind of dimming on Battle Royals, I think. I think, in general, Battle Royals are kind of boring. Would you guys... I know you like Apex,
I could play them.
but,
I could play them all day.
But, the concept is kind of boring. You fall down, and either you're trying to fight right away,
right,
or you're trying to not fight. And if you're not fighting, what are you doing? You're scavenging the map. I don't know. It's just not the most compelling gameplay.
That I can agree with that.
Right.
While also playing it all day.
But if you are fighting and if you are trying to get in those hot zones, it's nonstop action.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
Right.
All battle royals are my number 2 most boring.
Okay.
Fair take.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, that is But Actually. So let us know what you thought about that segment. Let us know what you thought about our takes. If any of us are wrong.
We went a little everywhere with that segment.
I think we're gonna get comments of dumpsters on fire. Gifts.
That's fine. That's fine.
just leave a comment.
Let us know if the dumpster is on fire, as David would say. But that leads us to our next segment. It's a game you've played before, and it is back. It is called What's the Meta?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to What's the Meta? Today we have David and we have Jeremy as the contestants. How are you doing today, fellas? All right, let's start off. First game on What's the Meta. This got a 2 out of 10 by Death Row. Yikes. I'm truly lost of words. This game sucks butt. Too short. I've been playing this game since it first came out, and I can't believe they will charge $70 for a bundle pack in a story mode 2 hours long. Y'all have to do better. This is really the end of blank. Y'all, 4-letter expletive, suck for this.
I don't even know a game that's that short.
I don't know what that 4-letter expletive would be. Y'all 4-letter words suck for this?
I mean, honestly, this barely sounds like a coherent thought to me.
So you don't have a guess?
I don't have a guess.
Okay.
No.
Zeltan gave this game a 1 out of 10. Thanks, reviewers, for wasting my $60. Graphics are horrible on PS4 Pro. Only thing you do is trying to get headshots. You will end finding solutions to puzzles online, as it is so boring going through every piece, it was spelled peace sign, of paper lying around. Z, 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 Z.
Headshots.
You just... Peace. Are we all just saying one word here?
Yeah. Peace. I got nothing.
Okay. Third clue. This is getting kind of rough, guys. I need you here. All right. CVFBGFNGHF. Tell me if I mispronounced that. Gave this game a 7 out of 10. So it's one of the higher ones we ever put. So full play time, 6 hours. Game buy, $60? I don't think so. I don't buy it. Even not drama, board boss, repeated local, it's so sick a game.
What? And it's PS4 Pro, 6 hours, photo mode.
I don't think I said anything about photo mode.
Didn't you say that? Trying to get a headshot or something? Oh, headshot! Like, oh wow, I completely misunderstood
This guy's got
that.
photo mode going on. Does David have it?
No.
All right. Last clue. This guy, Unicron35, gave this game a 4 out of 10. Oh shoot. Blank could have been a phenomenal game. The graphics, atmosphere, and music soundtrack are excellent. I was really enjoying the game until Blank showed up and ruined everything. All he does is chase you around and you can't even damage him. This horrible, dated, and lame gameplay mechanic should have been left out. It totally ruined my experience.
Wow. Resident Evil 3?
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2! He just stole your lunch, David. I'm sorry.
Wow. You said can't hurt him, so I just thought Nemesis.
There was a Mr. X.
Yep.
X gon' give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that mod?
No, is it?
It's just every time Mr. X shows up,
Oh, they
the
sing the
DMX
song?
plays. Yeah.
Yes, I need to get that. All right, second game. We have Big Krung Gory Yeet. Gave this game a 0 out of 10. Screw off, Activision. Putting microtransactions into a game after the reviews have been published, yet again? I was hesitant to buy this after seeing what happened to Black Ops 4, but I thought, surely they won't put microtransactions in a remake of a 20-year-old game.
Oh,
Right?
Call of Duty.
Don't buy this game, the new Modern Warfare, or any of their games until they stop this garbage practice.
Call of Duty 4.
No.
No.
Jeremy,
What?
do you have a guess?
Need for Speed?
No. Okay, we have Mama XXEX, who gave this game a 3 out of 10. I'm a fairly decent gamer, above casual. The medium setting for adventure mode is a tad bit ridiculous and doesn't make sense at times how much it favors the NPC. I wouldn't want to see what this game is like on hard. Glad I only rented the game and didn't waste my money. You've got all the clues in front of you guys. Just take it. Critic 5 gave this game a 1 out of 10. At 30 frames a second and with some decent physics, this is almost worthy. Is an almost worthy take on the highly successful Blank series.
Um,
Does he got it? Does he got it?
Adventure mode.
I didn't give you much here. All right, I didn't give you too many clues for this game. I apologize.
So recently there was a remake of Contra, right? But that's not Activision that did that, right?
No.
Okay.
All right, this will get it for you. Khalid Hamid gave this game a 1 out of 10. It's a bad copy of Blank Kart and Blank Kong Racing. Everything took from these games. Shame on you, Activision. Oh, come on.
You can't be talking about Crash Team Racing, right?
I'm 100%. I'm not talking about them. They're talking about it. Jeremy up 2-0. David. David, you just look sad.
Is it the Sonic game? They didn't do that, did they?
Jeremy just got the right answer, David.
Oh, okay. You did not make it seem that way.
All right, on to the third game. Ghoster gave this game a 1 out of 10. Could not force myself to finish this. False advertising and fake good score made me to buy this, but I regret it after first few minutes. Sad face. Try to avoid it. Game hit $5 price on sales pretty fast after release, but it's not even worth that. That gives you nothing. I know. I'm going to move immediately
barely
on.
coherent thought.
Max Payne is God. Gave this game a 4 out of 10. Massively overrated. Works well as a soft reboot and a celebration of ultra-violence, but as a video game, it's 1996 all over again with better graphics and slicker gameplay. I can understand the appeal this game has, but I need more than what Blank offers. It's fun for 30-minute stints, but for anyone who demands more than run and gun, other shooters like Blank are a far better option.
Other shooters. Soft reboot. I don't know what they've rebooted.
I'm wondering if I should give you guys this clue. This game was mentioned earlier in the podcast. Moving on. Nameless Honor gave this game a 0 out of 10. Not on the same level as Blank or Resurrection of Evil. This is just a mindless, overly fast-paced, dude bro style shooter. If running around and breezing through enemies is your thing, you'll love this garbage. If you like the survival horror style of things that Blank provided, then you will be extremely let down by this game. I had been waiting so long for Blank. I was excited. What a letdown.
Is it the Resident Evil 3 this time?
No. I would not give you 2 gimmies.
Run and gun
You already missed
shooter.
your first one.
That wasn't. There was 2 options there.
You missed your first one.
You know what?
Run and gun shooter. What is he? It's not
Dude bro type game.
dude bro type game. I've got no idea.
Subodai gave this game a 3 out of 10. Not a good first-person shooter game. I returned it to the shop for 2 reasons. Reason 1 is that killing demons in the campaign mode is too easy, repetitive, and boring because AI is generally poor. Reason 2 is that I'm not keen on extensive jumping and climbing. Way too much jumping and climbing starts relatively early on in the Foundry level. That level made me feel like playing a search and platform game. Jump for this, jump for that, search for this, search for that, jump and search again and again. As I learned from reviews that in some level I was expected to jump and climb on moving platforms as well, I immediately quit the game.
Foundry running gun dude bro.
Dude, bro.
It's not Doom, is it?
It is Doom. And
Okay.
Jeremy is going to be going for the sweep coming up. He has already won, but we will continue with the last 2 games.
There's not that much jumping around though in Doom, is there?
I've never played Doom.
I don't
Yeah,
played it,
me
I played it for about
either.
15 minutes, and I thought it was a run and gun dude bro type game, so I
that-
noped out.
Yeah, that
I was just not excited for
it's
it.
actually it's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Even with all the jumping and climbing?
I don't recall a bunch of jumping and climbing. That's what I was like.
That's why you got to put positive reviews on this site.
Right.
Okay, next game. 5 out of 10 from Kirez. This is a painfully slow-paced game with a 3-hour tutorial. It's realistic, but I want fun, not chores. Amen.
3-hour tutorial?
Three-hour tutorial. 3-hour tutorial. Dukery gave this game a 3 out of 10. Pros. Very good visuals. You can sell the game if you have the disc version. That's a pro. You can sell the game if you have the disc version. Oh, man. All right, cons. Extremely boring gameplay. Only reason I played through it, yes, I did, was the story, which I wanted to know. After that, there's no reason to replay. So in the end, after selling it, it cost me $10 euros for the playthrough, which is kind of okay.
3-hour tutorial visuals. This has to be
there.
this has to
He's
be
right there.
Red Dead Redemption 2, right?
He's right. Look at that. 4 in a row.
That has a 3-hour tutorial?
The beginning is kind of slow. It's a few hours, so yeah, kind of.
How did anybody get through that?
It's a solid story, so you kind of push through it. Solid story, really good characters. You push through it.
We'll pass.
Okay.
All right, Jeremy is going for the 5 out of 5.
I'm okay with it at this point.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Luke Paz gave this game a 10 out of 10. The purest piece of art in human history. With Shakespeare as the main writer of this incredibly smart and intriguing story, Mozart as the composer of the thrilling soundtrack, and Da Vinci on the art direction of this masterpiece, Blank in the Blank breaks all the previous concepts on man-made perfection and may be the key to human existence, since it defies every work made by God himself.
Willow and the Wisp?
No.
I don't know, but in my opinion, that's The Last of Us.
No. Okay, Pro Gamer 1991 gave this game a 10 out of 10. The best video game I've played. I cried 8 times. The graphics are pushing the limits of the DS. The sounds sound like Cory is next to me. The experience is amazing.
Sounds like Cory's next to me.
If this is a DS game, I've got no shot at this one.
Sam Murphy UK gave this game a 10 out of 10. 10 minutes in, I had lost 10 minutes in, I have lost 2 liters of blood and my children were dead. The dark god Cory calls from beyond the nether. There is no escaping the war. He will come.
I'm gonna make a guess that it's not Harvest Moon.
No, it's not Harvest Moon. Okay, so this last one is actually from Bill Paxton. Apparently he goes on Metacritic.
Oh, okay.
He gave this game a 10 out of 10 as well. As acclaimed actor who starred in Twister and Weird Science, I, Bill Paxton, know quality. Cory in the House touches on every single emotion a human could ever
I
experience.
was gonna say Cory in the House. Oh my god.
It also has the most complex and deep gameplay ever created. You'll be kicking yourself if you don't order this game right now. Listen, I was in Apollo 13. I know a masterpiece when I see one.
I'm so upset
Thank
with
God
myself.
for Bill Paxton. That was Cory in the House for the DS.
I couldn't think of "and the House."
Jeremy, I really thought you were going 5 for 5,
Right.
man.
Right. Of course, I had that one lined up. Well,
I hate myself.
that was What's the Meta?
The real winners are just all the viewers.
All the listeners and viewers are the winners, and all the people who apparently have no problem writing their ridiculous reviews, they're also the winners. Which brings us to the last segment, final thoughts. This is one last point or thoughts we wish to express about anything. Could be game related, non-game related. David, how about you go first? What is your final thought?
My final thought is I finally got a PS4 to borrow and The Last of Us Part 2, so I'm actually going to get to play it, and I'm so excited.
Oh, man.
All right.
Are you going to be a Cory or are you going to be a Jeremy? Who both disagree, but we're still in that same spot.
By the way, both said it's a really good game.
It's gonna be a 12 out of 10 for me. I haven't even played it yet.
Okay.
Oh, you're on your own level then. You're a David.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear your opinions on it.
Yeah.
Me too.
When you started it up this week?
I'll probably be playing it tomorrow. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool.
Sweet. All right, Cory, what is your final thought?
Jeremy, could you dim the lights and play the music, please?
Sure.
Hi, y'all. I'm Cory. You might know me as the handsome one or the funny one. Either way is fine. But if you're enjoying this podcast, if you could just tell one other person to listen to it, that would help us out tremendously. I would so much appreciate it. Thank you.
I feel seduced.
Yes. And for a regular final thoughts, if you like Ghost of Tsushima, maybe check out Demon Slayer. It's an anime that is amazing. It's got that Japanese vibe going on just like Ghost of Tsushima. So check that out.
Okay. I am sure that people will do what you told them to do when you talked to them that way. That is how you get them to do it.
Thank you.
Yes. My final thought is, I mean, we are just sounding so crispy on this setup we got. That's my actual final thought, guys. I'm just gonna say we sound so bleeping crispy on air, and yeah, that's it. So that is it for level 8. I mean, honestly, just we sound great.
I think we should all try to say goodbye in our crispiest voice. David.
Goodbye.
A little bit of an accent there.
Yes.
Arrivederci. Jeremy.
That is it for level 8 of the Thoughts and Players podcast. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast service. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I don't know if that's going to still be around because I know they're getting rid of Google Music. So whatever. We're also on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, all that stuff. We're also on YouTube. You can find us there. You can like us, like the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/thoughtsandplayers, as well as on Instagram at thoughts.players. I think I meant facebook.com/thoughtsandplayers, all one word, as well as on Instagram at thought.players. That's where we're posting stuff with the August Gamer giveaway. So again, make sure you're tuned into that. Spread the word on it. Enter yourself or a gamer friend you have at a chance to win a $10 PSN card and a lot more. But that is going to be it for us. Hopefully you enjoy this level. Hopefully you agree we sound crispy. Any of the topics or segments that you listen to that you want to weigh in on, please do. We always want to hear your opinion and what you think. So that's it for us. Thanks again, everyone. We will catch you on the next level.